I'll quickly move on to best testing types. So as I told you before that hallway of testing is one of the famous methodology, and the other one is moderated usability testing. That is what these two things we will focus on today. So hallway of testing doesn't really involve any cost. So you have people in your organization, you can call them up, and then you can give them the design you have, or you give them the product you have, and then ask them to use it in front of you and ask questions, so that they will provide you feedback. And another thing is like, so if you are going to be conducting, if you are going to conduct an usability testing as a moderator, for example, so you have to be really cautious about how, what are the words, the choice of words you are using to an usability tester or a person you are actually giving the product. So if you call a person from your organization, for example, in the case of hallway of testing, you are sitting in a room and you have a product or a prototype with you, and you call this person and then you ask them to take a look at the product. They will end up in giving you suggestions of the product rather than actual usability testing. They will say this looks good, that doesn't look good, and they will keep on giving you, because this will become that evaluation of that person itself. They feel that are you evaluating me, my technical abilities? So that comes into picture. So so you have to be really careful and cautious about how you will set the stage for usability testing. You call a person, ask them to have a seat with you and make them comfortable by giving a coffee or something, and then clearly explain them that this is not feedback session on that design. It's not feedback on their technical abilities. They don't really need to show any technical abilities when testing the product. They are not testing. They are actually going to use your product, and then they will tell you what they feel. That is how it has to be. And here I wanted to engage certain things that the goal of usability testing. This is really important, that you have to be really keeping this in your mind. You are going to find out the efficiency of the product and the accuracy of the product, and how the user recalls or recognizes different things when they don't really use certain feature, and then they come back there, and what they really remember. That is how it goes. And what is their emotional response when they see a particular element or particular button or the actual product? Is it awful or it is really exciting? So there are different emotions involved in human beings, right? So you have to monitor that. You have to take an account of that. So these four elements. So I'll repeat that: efficiency of the product, accuracy, recall, and emotional response. This is your goal. This is the goal of your usability testing. And the product which is designed has to be really taking care of the persuasion of the user, emotion of the user, how they build the trust on an user when they present the product to them. So it's called PEP architecture. There is a good presentation in slideshare.net of Barry Briggs. So you can just check Barry's PET presentation, and then you can access that in the SlideShare website. And so you should really take a look at PET architecture, how a user-controlled design, the UCD, is being developed or has to be developed. If you are a developer, you should really focus on this Barry Briggs PET architecture, how you will create usable product. So your product has to be engaging, your product has to be compelling, and your product has to be effective. If you're an if you're a developer, you should really take care of these three things: engaging product, compelling product, and an effective product. So now let's go back to how you test it. Because the first nutshell of it is like Steve Krug, that is one of the forefather of this usability initiatives. So like he said that you test early and you test often. So you have to test your product early because like it's really applies to functional testing as well. You're supposed to test early, so the cost of your defects that will take for fixing that defect will go down. The same thing applies here as well. You have to test early, even before the product actually developed. The product is just in wireframe stage, and people just draw some screens in the board. This is what the product will look like. You should start planning your usability testing even just there. You can plan there. So let's go back to the goals of usability testing. So as I told earlier, efficiency, accuracy, and how the user recalls the product and their emotional response. This is what your goal. And in hallway of testing, you should really take care of how you deal with them. So like so you are not really paying anything to them. You just call them, and they have to spend their time with you, and they have to give feedback, and they'll also really very afraid that you really test, because normally senior people does that in an organization. They will really feel that you are actually testing their technical abilities. So that is how it goes. Like so, let's talk about moderated usability testing a little bit later. So let's talk about the sample size. How many people you really need to call for this, and how many people you really need to invite if you are really doing usability testing, moderated usability testing in an organization. Okay, so for example, the feedbacks that you get, the more people you use, it's quite normal that you will get similar kind of feedback. For example, you test with 10 people, they will be giving, for example, 15 different feedbacks and 15 different points that you will feel that you will be fixing it. But if you use 100 people also, they most likely they'll come up with a similar kind of scenarios. This is so the users, for example, about 8 to 10 people in the moderated usability testing scenario is adequate. So what you should do is like perform the usability test with 5 people in the beginning, and then after that feedbacks and all being incorporated, then call 5 more, and then make sure that they are actually really able to use the product seamlessly. Okay, so let's I'll describe moderated usability testing a little bit before we go further slides. Moderated usability testing is one of the best usability testing methods. You recruit or call people, your friends, family, or calling people for using some consultancy. Because different set of products need different set of people. For example, if you are making a software for an ATM, you cannot just call only engineers and doctors, because even layman is using that. uneducated people will be using the product. So you have to make sure that your the people who comes to you and performing the usability testing, they have to be a different variety of people. Like that, you have to create the personas. So and then create the personas or screeners. Call these people, perform the usability testing, and record them. Because before that also you have to like you sign a consent form, whether you can record them and all that, because it's also much it will end up in legal issues if you record and play it, upload it in somewhere. So take the consent form, take the signature from in the consent form, and then call them, create the usability testing test protocols, meaning that some kind of test cases I'll be able to show that a little bit later, and then perform it, and then record it, record audio, record video, record their observations, and then present into your product management. And then they will, if they buy that, they will apply some of them into the product. And then once it happens, then after 2 months or after the product actually went to the another beta stage, then call some 5 more people again and then perform that kind of usability testing. So this is how moderated usability testing used to happen. Okay, I already spoke of this sample size. So like you have to use 5 people in the beginning, and then after the first beta and again second beta, you use 5 more different people, and then go with that. So as I said earlier, the more number of people you use, the more likely they will come up with similar kind of scenarios. So you can use the compact amount of people, and also it's the cost is involved. You cannot call people from outside and they'll spend that kind of, for example, normal usability testing time is 1 hour. Or else they will they'll not give you good feedback, because their mental ability or the moral of that will set for only 1 hour. That crisp feedback you will get for that 1 hour. So keep your usability test sessions always 1 hour. So you call them, and then you have to give them some money. For example, you have to there are certain set limits are there in India, and for example US, Europe, and UK also different set limits are there. So based on that, you're supposed to pay them money, because so if you use large number of people also, so you have to pay everyone. So it cost is also involved. So that you have to take care of that. So how you will really execute this?